Hey guys, it's Bina, and in today's video, I want to talk about a build that I've been playing for like 2 days now. It is Storm Crows. Storm Crows is a companion build on the Primalist, on Beastmaster, and we're just gonna go kill Abrot, see how it plays, see how it performs, and you can judge for yourself if you think this build is Giga or not. So let's go ahead and go kill Abrot. There are some intricacies to minions. Minions in last Epoch can be snapshotted. So I have a few pieces of gear here that I use to summon my companions. Then when I use this, they will get summoned with whatever stats I have on my gear, right? So I put minion damage, minion health, minion regen, stuff like that, just to let them survive a little bit more, right? And then I can swap back to my regular setup, which has like an Aura's Time Glass for survivability, a shield, and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and see how this performs. You could also go way more like crazy with the snapshotting and like snapshot idols for like minion damage and stuff like that. But you know, that would be a little bit longer. And since I have a setup that has like all small idols, I will not be snapshotting those minions for now. So what I do here is basically I am pretty much holding down 3 buttons: Warcry, Swipe, and my Crow's ability. And I'm also holding down right click. So how this works is that right click has a lower priority compared to your other skills on your bar. So when you're holding down all those buttons, as these go off cooldown, they will cast. And when they are on cooldown, you will be using Tempest Strike. So we are using Tempest Strike to actually give our crows quite a bit of flat damage here. Hopefully I don't die on this fight. We're giving them quite a bit of flat damage, thanks to a node in Tempest Strike. Is he right on the dot or what? Am I getting stacked? I don't think I'm hitting him. Alright. My main source of survivability on this build is Vessel of Strife. So I am a regen build. I'm a regen build, which also my ward will benefit from my health regen, right? Thanks to Vessel of Strife. So I don't recommend leveling with this build. I did level with it, but it did not feel that great, to be honest. It really started to pop off later down the line. Once I got Vessel of Strife, once you get all of your points into your crows, once you get more items for plus level to skills, the damage on Abrot is really, really good. This is only like a very, very basic version of the build. Basically, as I said earlier, this is like a 2 days old build. Nothing crazy around here, right? Absolutely nothing crazy. And these idols basically just fix my res because, yeah, I have bad gear. So yeah, that was my Aberrot kill. Let's just grab some of these items real quick, and I'll go showcase how this build maps. Also, right now, I am using Maelstrom to get access to Haste and Frenzy. But if you want to get even more damage, you just spec into Wolf. Wolf have a node at the left here, which gives you +1 maximum companions. And so this works for your crows as well, right? So it's kind of like a wasted slot, but it's like a 20% more multiplier, since you would go from 5 companions to 6. The big damage comes from the crow's ability. Their auto attack does do a little bit of damage, but yeah. Let's go see how it maps. I'll go in a map here real quick. Actually, let's go in this map here. Black Sun. Take one with higher corruption. 434. It's not that high right now, but like this build would basically, with Bastion of Honor and Vessel of Strife, you will be able to, like, you know, blast 1,000 corruption very, very easily. And with your crows, okay, I think these crows actually did not snapshot here. Yeah, so that's the thing. If I go from so how snapshotting works is, while you are in the monolith zones, this is considered one big zone. So you summon your crows once and they get snapshotted for the entire duration. that you stay in Monolith. But since I was in a Shattered Road and they did an Aberrot kill here, I have to re-snapshot them. So the thing I do, I remove them from my bar so that they disappear, right? Bring them back, swap my gear. So I have like only these few pieces. Summon them, boom, boom, boom. Swap back my gear, and now they are summoned with like increased health, regen, and etc. If you don't want to go through this hassle, you could just put it on your gear and you would be fine, right? So this is just a way to kind of like min-max a companion build or a minion build that have like permanent minions, since you can use better pieces of gear for your own defense rather than their defense or their damage. Oh, I was also missing some points here, actually. Well, anyways, that was the showcase on Aberrot without 2 points in my passive because I just went and tested something on the dummy and had to remove these points. So basically here you just, you hold Warcry. Whenever you use swipe, your swipe ability will cast the crow's ability. So you have swipe casting their ability and Crowstorm casting their ability as well. And in the meantime, you just basic attack with Tempest Strike, which is gonna give them up to 200, like close to 200 flat damage. So, I mean, I guess this is an arena echo, which is not that great for a showcase, but I mean, you kind of see the, kind of see the idea. It's like very, very easy. Having health regen as your main source of defense as well with Vessel of Strife. You could think like, hey, Bina, you only have like 1400 health. Like, you're not very tanky, but actually, you are fairly tanky. And a lot of your tankiness comes from having basically free recovery at any time. It's not as strong as Leech, but it does feel very good just for like general mapping and stuff like that. Your biggest weakness is going to be dots. Dots are going to be very, very dangerous for you because Primalist does not have access to a lot of like armor applied to dots and stuff like that. So yeah, so dot mitigation is a little bit harder, but we do get access to take less damage from nearby enemies. Aspect of the boar as well, with increased effective aspect of the boar. And we have access to also to cornered beast, which gives us less damage taken on low health, which really is great when you're using it with Aura's Time Glass, because when your passive does proc and damage leaves you at low health, a little bit lower than this, you will proc Aura's Time Glass, which is going to refill all of your health and give you a bunch of ward. So for all that period of time, then you still get the damage reduction because this lingers for 5 seconds after. So yeah, really nice synergy with this. So that was pretty much the mapping and the bossing. Keep in mind, the damage potential of this is so much higher. This is only a 2 days old character. So yeah, take this showcase with a grain of salt, because it is basically, it's not near the final form that this build can reach. So let's go straight up into the planner now that we've seen this. This is like a basic planner that I've put up together just to show you what you can do to reach like about 1,000 corrupt. Like, this will blast 1,000 corruption super easily, right? The only thing you need to worry about is dots. Damage is excellent. Survivability is excellent. The gearing process is very easy. The one big weakness is that I do not recommend leveling with this, right? You do not want to level with this. Crows are just bad while leveling. They will die. You won't have good snapshot gear. You won't even have like just generally good gear for them, and you won't survive because you're not dealing damage. They are dealing damage. You're not really leeching. It's just terrible. Just level with a good leveling build like totems and swap into crows later down the line. Maybe even only when you have a Vessel of Strife is I think that's the ideal thing. You level with anything else, and then you swap to this setup once you have some defenses for you, because yeah, this is a very kind of a special setup where you're just basing your defenses only on regen. Anyways, if you want to level with it, it's doable. I've done it, but not recommended. So you're using Cleaver Solution here. Well, actually, first, let's go over the skills, okay? The main thing that is boosting your crows is going to be Tempest Strike. Tempest Strike is a melee attack. we're basically getting Tempest Strike to cost 0 mana, and then we're removing all of the mana cost with these nodes here. Ancestral Swiftness gives us a bunch of attack speed and removing the mana cost, right? Then also you gain mana on hit with no Tempest. So yeah, you grab all of these, 0 mana, lots of attack speed, and then you get this shared spell damage buff with Gladiator of Lagon. So basically this gives you 4 flat spell damage for you and your minions. Based on the number of stacks that you have, you can gain 3 per second. So this is a ramp up build that ramps up damage over 8 seconds, assuming that you still get the 3 stacks per second. And then you double this effect with 50 plus int. And this is why we are using Cleaver Solution to transfer all of our strength into int and to double this effect. This brings us to really close to 200 flat damage for our crows, and it's just like really strong. The next thing that we grab in crows is going to be all of the damage multipliers that we possibly can. So we're giving them a lot of base crit chance. We're grabbing all of the more multipliers up here. Armor Shred, very important. Any hit build, you need to be able to apply Armor Shred to an effective level. And with this node alone, your crows will be able to, since we are stacking strength. Damage per crow, more damage when you hit enemies in melee. So this plays like a melee build, but the damage comes from your companions, from your crows. But most of your damage really comes from the active ability. So that means that you don't really care about their auto attacks when you're mapping or anything like that, right? Because, yeah, you will just swipe, they will cast their ability no matter where they are on the map. So you don't really have to micromanage them, except to make them survive maybe certain slams or abilities or dots, right? You don't want to leave them inside of a poison pool or something like that. So pressing A on your keyboard enables you to like move them wherever you want, and they are fairly responsive and fast, so this should not be too much of a problem. So yeah, we grab all the more multipliers. Keep in mind that all of these also apply to the Crow Storm, since they're just like very generic, so it's gonna be very good. Damage per shock. Then we grab the Crow Storm damage and the Crow Storm damage per crow as well. If we had more points, we would go into Fulminating Caw for lightning damage effectiveness. These points, if you have maxed out points in here, this would allow you to stack lightning damage for you, and that would apply at 150 effectiveness for your crows. So that would make idols, for example, the snapshotting idols, which have shared lightning damage, right, for you and your minions, they would be so effective. So yeah, we also had a nice little teaser with this new offhand catalyst that will come next patch for season 2, which will give us another +2 skills to all minion skills. So that might be a really good option next patch for crows if you are thinking about adding more points into the skill tree. So that pretty much covers the crow tree. For the Warcry tree, we're giving them a lot of crit. We're reducing the cooldown of Warcry. We are also making Warcry pull instead of knockback. So this is pretty important on fights like Julra, Temporal Sanctum. You're gonna Warcry to bring Julra towards you so that she doesn't sit inside of her lasers, right? So also bringing monsters towards you lets you actually hit with your Crow Storm ability more reliably. So that is why we take this node here. I go for 3 stacks here. So the Maelstrom is the ability that you would swap out if you wanted to go for the Wolves. So depending on what you want. But Maelstrom is really good for mapping because it has haste and frenzy when you have 6 or more stacks. So with only 3 points in here, you can permanently get haste and frenzy whenever you are mapping. And just getting a lot of movement speed will allow you to stack your Gladiator of Lagon stacks on Tempest Strike more reliably and keep them up so that your crows get more damage, more consistently. So that is why we're grabbing the stacks here on Warcry. Warcry is also cleansing elements for us, and we're also getting a lot more attack speed from the Berserk buff here. So that pretty much covers Warcry. Swipe, again, the most important one. Primal Resonance. It will enable Swipe to cast your minion ability, but Swipe now gains a cooldown. So yeah, just basically this is our main source of damage, alongside a kill threshold of 14% and a very nice buff of increased health regen that will benefit us because we are a regen build with Vessel of Strife. So that pretty much covers it. We're also swapping to Stormclaw and getting the shock chance because this will help us get some shocks for our Storm Breath node here. So that pretty much covers swipe. Maelstrom, we've talked about it. Haste, Frenzy. The rest doesn't really matter. You do want to go for the maximum stack duration and getting increased dodge rating per Maelstrom stacks, but really the rest doesn't matter. I grabbed some healing here and a little bit of like Storm Bolts. So yeah, basically nothing crazy here. Over on the passives, since the crows scale off of strength and attunement, we're grabbing the strength, we're grabbing attunement. Strength is also giving us a lot of percentage armor, which is pretty nice. Will make us be able to stack armor fairly easily and get to a decent amount of damage reduction from our armor. Health, and also get some points for the less damage taken on low health, which again synergizes very, very well with Aura's Time Glass. So that's it for the base Primalist tree. On the Beastmaster tree, less damage taken, Aspect of the Boar, which is another source of damage reduction when you have it. Since we are a melee build, we will always proc this thanks to Porcine Constitution, which you have a chance to grant Aspect of the Boar when you hit with a melee attack. Health and companion health. We got some move speed and some cast speed for our minions. We also have, okay, companion revive speed. Let's talk about this. Revive, if a minion dies during a map and you revive him by standing in a circle, he loses all of the buffs that you gave him with the snapshotting. So you will want to re-snapshot your crows if they do die in an echo. But technically, they should not really die that much, even on the 1000 corruption. Strength, health regen for companions, just like really, really good stuff for us since we are a regen build. Also, we get health regen scaling from our strength, just really, really good. This we already talked about. 1 point here to just give our companions our endurance. We are not capped in endurance, and I don't really care about this because our main source of defense is regen and Vessel of Strife. But it's still nice to get 1 point here to give our endurance that we get to our companions. We get Cry of the Lynx. This is going to give us Aspect of the Lynx, which gives them 100% crit chance and stun chance. Crows hit very, very hard. They need the crit, and the stun chance is super good to interrupt certain bosses, assuming that you have enough damage. Yeah, very good. You can time this for Aberrot, for, you know, like pretty much any big boss fight that you want to interrupt their attacks. You have a good chance of stunning them with this. Alongside, you get the increased stun chance with Thundering Strike in Crowstorm here. So that is it for this. +1 companion, again, just a multiplier for our damage. And this one is just flat strength. We don't benefit from anything else. I put this here because I think most people will not have enough strength to get 100% block chance with Bastion of Honor. Bastion of Honor basically gives you 1% block chance per strength against close enemies. And in last Epoch, you can get 100% chance to block. So you want to have at least 86 strength to reach 100% block chance with Bastion of Honor. So that's why I put these points there. But these are kind of like flexible points. You will see this build has a lot of flexible points in the passive tree. Here we go for a 2-minute penetration and 5 points for shared increased damage and cooldown recovery speed for Fury Leap and Crowstorm. Arguably, this node, Sky Warrior, the 5 points for Crowstorm cooldown is bugged and does not work at the moment. Hopefully it's fixed for next patch, but I still included these here. Even just for the Fury Leap, you also do get increased damage for your crows, so this is not bad, but since it's bugged, you could also go for something else. On the Druid tree, a 2-minute strength. Both of these will scale the damage for your crows. So just very, very important node. And 5 points into endurance here as your starting nodes. But then again, you could go for the health and mana. Like, honestly, there's a lot of flexible nodes, depending on if you want to go for more damage, more defense. If you need to cap your strength for Bastion of Honor and stuff like that. So feel free to mess around a little bit with the passives. Now let's talk about the keyring. Cleaver solution, I talked about this. You stack strength and your int is equal to your strength, so that every point of strength will give you int, and you will be able to benefit from the double effect on your minions with 50 intelligence here in Scheme of the Architect, so that they get almost 200 flat damage. So I just put a basic setup for, you know, 1 LP on every item. I will have a full build guide for this for the next patch in 1.2 in season 2. So we'll have a full actual build guide for this. But for now, we are sticking to well, on this particular planner, I will be sticking to just 1 LP just to show you the basic setup, and then you can maximize it however you want afterwards. Bastion of Honor, block effectiveness, extremely good, extremely effective. This would be the #1 choice that you want to get. Archer's Legacy, we grab this for the plus skills, right? So we have a few items for plus skills: Archer's Legacy, Cleaver Solution, and the gloves Raven's Rise, alongside the 2 gloves. So it's a very, very heavy itemization towards plus level of minion skills, because the crows just benefit so much from them. So Archer's Legacy gives us melee attack speed, lets you stack your buff from Tempest Strike more easily and faster. Although you're limited to like 3 procs per second, so you don't need that much melee attack speed, but more is better, right? This also gives us +1 companion and +2 to all minion skills, so this is pretty much a no-brainer. We go for flat health regen on this one. Aura's Time Glass gives us a second life, endurance, attack speed, ward retention, just very good synergies. Also, like the second life, as I said, benefits from Cornered Beast, so it's just like an insane item for survivability. Ancestral Garb here, this base is very important. It has cooldown recovery speed, which will reduce the cooldown of your swipe, your Crowstorm, your Warcry, everything. So because this is a big part of your damage, this is actually not only, you know, utility with like more cooldown and Fury Leap, but also a lot of damage for swipe, which casts Crowstorm, right? So we go for +4 level of Storm Crows, and here, you know, there are other options, but I went for increased health regen, increased health, and strength to help cap for your Bastion of Honor. On your belt, surprisingly, you can see here a pattern. We're not using anything to buff our minions because we'll have a separate planner for snapshotting gear, right? Anything that does not put plus level on your crows, you will use for snapshotting. So, yeah, so I don't put minion damage on the belt. I don't put like experimental Voltai Zombie summon with minion damage because I don't need it. I have another belt to for snapshotting. So I use Element Cleansing on potions, ward gain on use per potion per 10 int, since we're going to get a lot of int with our strength. This is going to give us a lot of ward when you use potions, cooldown recovery speed, and increased health regen. I am using the Fire Dragon Shoes to be able to cap my reduced bonus damage taken from crit strikes. So that is how I am mitigating the damage from crits. Arguably, here, Foot of the Mountain would be good. Blood of the Exile would be good, since they have a lot of attributes and strength. But yeah, ultimately, I need defenses, and I am reformed, and I want to survive 1,000 corruption, okay? No longer will I play ZHP Ballista type of builds if they don't have, like, you know, if they don't have a source of guaranteed dodge like Rogue has. Not that I have in the past, but like if I'm comparing to ZHP Ballista, you do need to focus on defense. More survivability means more uptime on your damage, just means more DPS overall. So yeah, Fiery Dragon Shoes with maybe you seal tier 1, reduced damage bonus, reduced damage taken from crits, maybe on your body armor or on your belt. So I've included these in the planner here. Raven's Rise, health regen, lots of +2 level to spell minion skills. No brainer here. Vessel of Strife, this is what the build defense is based around. You just go for increased health regen here. And the Phantom Grips, which gives you +2 to all minion skills. You don't care really about the critical strike chance. All you really care is to get +2 to all minion skills on both of these. And then you get strength, and you can get other things as well. Health regen, whatever else is available to you that you can get. Just make sure that you have at least 86 strength. So that pretty much covers the gearing here. If you go over the blessing, I go Void Res, Health Regen, All Res, Physical Res, and very important here, which might be a little bit weird, but like chance to apply Frailty on hit. I don't have a good source of Frailty since I can't seal it on the amulet. I can't seal it on the gloves. I cannot seal it on the relic. So my only other place really to get it, there would be one option in Warcry, but the Warcry is pretty, you know, it's pretty packed for points here. That would only put 1 stack as well. So I'm just going for the blessing. I am losing a lot of flat armor, But I mean, our armor is still pretty nice with sitting with like almost 4,000 armor here. So frailty is better than getting a little bit more armor. So this is a better defensive layer. For our idols, of course, early on you will try to just fix your res with your idols. But once you are good on res, you can go for health regen grand idols like this. 4 of those that will increase your health regen quite a bit. Aspect of the boar, increase aspect of the boar for even more defenses. And yeah, the rest is just health regen on small Etherean idols. So now we can go talk about the snapshotting gear. Again, another little thing that I want to talk about for snapshotting. If you have points that you invest into, when you put points in your skill tree, this resummons your crows. So you cannot use any piece of gear that has plus skills to snapshot. I can't use the helm, the weapon, both of the rings, the gloves and the planner. Right now I don't have it, but like for example, the gloves here, which would give us +2 skills, you cannot use those for snapshotting. So the only slots that you can use are these plus all of your idols, right? So of course, death rattle, kind of a no-brainer. A lot of crit multi, and then you can slam minion damage and minion health. Invest in enough minion health to be able to, for your crows to survive. Invest in enough minion health regen for them to be able to survive as well and sustain. And make sure that you use a living seed so that you get minion damage leech as health on hit, so that they can leech their health on top of regenning, right? So that will increase their survivability quite a bit, and then go for full damage afterwards, right? You can give them minion dodge rating. Experimental minion teleport on after you on the boots will give you a lot of increased minion damage as well. So that is one that some people sometimes forget. There is a nice offhand catalyst that you can use here. You could also spec 1 point in the passive for your in the base primalist tree. You can equip axe and sword in the offhand, and you could like maybe snapshot a sword. For example, if I go here, one-handed sword. You can snapshot a sword with lightning penetration for you and your minions, maybe. So they would get the 22% penetration from this. We don't have a lot of pen on this build, so like that would be pretty good. But I mean, you cannot use it in your main hand because you're using Cleaver Solution. So you could only use it if you put 1 point in your passive to do this on this slot. Although I will say you don't really need it. This build has enough damage already. That would only be used like if you want to like kind of meme, and increasing more minion health is extremely important as well to make sure that they survive. It will improve your quality of life by playing this build. So that's why I use this. And then on your idols, you just go for shared increase lightning damage, right? Shared lightning, shared lightning, shared lightning. That's a lot of increase for your minions. So I think we've covered pretty much everything. The mapping, the bossing with the Aberrot kill. We've talked about the gearing, we talked about the blessings, we talked about the passives. Overall, I think this build is not a good leveling build, but an incredibly good late game build for companions. I think it is the best companion build, without the shadow of a doubt. Way, way, way better than wolf and squirrels and bear, scorpion, saber-tooth raptor. Nothing even comes close to the power that Stormcrows have. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And next patch, with the little leak that we got here for Tolmat's incorrect history of Etera, we're gonna get even more minion skills, and this should be even more powerful than it is now. And yeah, I think this is gonna be yeah, pretty much a staple of, you know, companion builds all around. I don't think anything even comes close to it. Hope you enjoyed the video. There will be a full build guide for this next patch over on Maxroll. So stay tuned for that, with a complete min-max set of gear. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.